You ever cried and immediately thought, why am I like this? Like your tears just betrayed you in public, even if nobody saw them? But what if I told you something strange? People who cry easily aren't emotionally weak. They're actually processing life in a way most people don't even realize exists. And the real question is, why does the world make them feel like something is wrong with them? We grow up hearing the same things over and over again. Don't cry. Be strong. Control yourself. And slowly, we start to believe a quiet rule. If you cry easily, you're not strong enough for life. So we learn to hide it. We look away. We swallow it. We pretend we're fine. But here's the uncomfortable truth. Crying isn't the problem. The problem is what we've been told crying means. Because nobody really questions it. Why is something so natural treated like a flaw? And why do some people tear up over the smallest things, while others feel almost nothing at all? That difference isn't random, it's psychological, and it goes deeper than most people think. Let's clear something up. People who cry easily are not too emotional. They're emotionally faster. Here's what that means. Your brain has two systems working in emotional moments. One reacts instantly. The other thinks, analyzes, controls. When something hits you emotionally, a sad story, a memory, a harsh word, the fast system reacts first. In some people, that reaction passes through quickly. They feel it, but it doesn't overflow. In others, that emotional signal is louder, stronger, harder to filter, so it comes out as tears. Not because they are weak, but because their emotional system doesn't wait for permission. And here's where it gets interesting. That same system is what allows people to feel deeply connected, deeply empathetic, and deeply human. So the question becomes, is this really a flaw, or just a different emotional wiring? Inside your brain, there's a part called the amygdala. Think of it like an emotional alarm system. It reacts instantly to emotional meaning, sadness, fear, overwhelm, even beauty. Then there's another part, the prefrontal cortex. That's the control room. It says, wait, think, calm down, don't react too fast. Now here's the key point. In people who cry easily, that alarm system is more sensitive. It picks up emotional signals faster and stronger. So even things others brush off, they feel deeply. A sad scene in a movie, a harsh tone in someone's voice, even someone else's pain. And sometimes it all builds up and comes out as tears. But here's the part nobody talks about. This isn't just about sadness. It's about emotional depth. Because the same brain that cries easily is often the same brain that feels everything more vividly. Which leads to a strange question. If someone feels joy deeper, love deeper, connection deeper, why is it only the tears we notice? Think about this for a second. You're watching a movie with friends. Everyone is normal, calm, maybe even laughing. And then suddenly, you feel that tight feeling in your chest. Your eyes start to water. And you're sitting there thinking, seriously? This part? So you try to hide it, look at your phone, blink it away, act normal. But it doesn't go away. Or maybe it's not even a movie. Maybe it's a small comment someone made, or a memory you thought you were over, or just a long, exhausting week finally catching up. And suddenly, you're crying. Not because of one thing, but because that one thing was just the last drop. And in that moment, you don't feel deep. You feel embarrassed, like your emotions are louder than they're supposed to be. But here's something important. That random crying usually isn't random at all. It's emotional buildup finally finding an exit. Here's something psychologists often notice. People who cry easily are usually very emotionally aware, not just of themselves, but of others. They notice tone changes, silence, facial expressions, energy shifts. They feel the mood of a room before anyone says a word. And that kind of awareness comes at a cost, because you don't just observe emotions, you absorb them. So when life gets heavy, you're not only carrying your own emotions, you're carrying pieces of everything around you too. And over time, that creates overflow, not weakness, just emotional saturation. But here's the twist most people miss. The same sensitivity that makes someone cry easily is also what makes them deeply understanding, kind, and emotionally intelligent. So why do we only focus on the tears and ignore everything behind them? What if crying easily is not a sign of instability, but a sign that your emotions are still alive and responsive? Because some people don't cry, not because they are stronger, but because they've learned to disconnect. They've trained themselves to feel less so they can function more. But if you feel everything deeply, you don't need training to be human. You already are. The real challenge isn't stopping tears. It's learning how to understand them without judging yourself for them. Because your emotions are not your enemy. They're signals, and sometimes they're just louder in you than in others. So maybe the real question isn't, why do I cry so easily? Maybe it's, what is my emotion trying to tell me before I shut it down? Because tears don't come out of nowhere. They come out when something inside you refuses to stay silent anymore. And maybe, just maybe, being someone who feels deeply in a world that's trying to feel less is not a weakness at all. Maybe it's one of the most human things left. If your tears could speak honestly, without shame, without filters, what do you think they've been trying to say all this time? That you've been ignoring just to stay strong?